guys so much for joining us today as we hit the government back in the snot box for everything they've done to us over the last 90 days. It's been insane. My name is Chris Paul. I'm one of the owners here at the Rail Club Live. I'm joined today with my good buddy, James Kopech.
From Pasadena, out here, the Shooters nightclub in Pasadena. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Once again, what Chris said, what we're here for is to hit them right in the snot box, as he says, on all the corruption and the low-down dirty dealing that they've been giving us for the past 90 days.
So we'll start real quick with a couple things. If everybody can tune into the Rail Club Live Facebook page real quick, you guys go to there and just go, the live stream is on right now, and you just hit share and it'll ask if you want to start a watch party. The entire goal of this is to combine all of our reaches together to hit the most people as possible so we can bring more attention to this issue and get this tyranny thrown out and stop the abuse once and for all. So with that said, if you guys have any questions on how to do it, I'd be more than happy to answer them. All you need to do is go to the Rail Club Live Facebook page and just click. You'll see the live stream. Scroll down to where you see James's pretty face and me. And there should be an option to start a watch party or to share. And I ask every single one of you guys to encourage everybody else to do the same exact thing. To share it, share it, share it. Let's get the word out. Put it up on your bar pages. Put it in the groups that you guys are a part of. We need to let the world know the tyranny that's taking place here in the great state of Texas. And we need to make sure to remind everybody that freedom reigns here in the great state of Texas. So with that said, has everybody figured that out so far? We're just working on it. There's no sound on it. Good. You guys got to bear with us a second. We just got to get the stream going. It's the most important part of this. Otherwise, you're just going to be looking at my tiny ass up here just talking to you. While he's figuring that out, I'll go ahead and throw out some of the policies and ground rules we got for today. We have busted our asses to fight a good fight in this. As hard as it's been, we've been turning the other cheek this entire time. The last thing we want to do is break the law or make our movement go backwards. So all I ask is everyone stay seated for them, stay social distance, follow some of the CDC recommendations and guidelines, and let's all be able to protest safely so that we're not making our movement go backwards. Furthermore, we are not selling alcohol today, or right now, because Open Carry Texas will be out front here momentarily, so the two don't go hand in hand. Unless you're at a Chili's, because that's perfectly legal. So we'll give it a second while they figure out the audio on the stream. In the meantime, who all is here right now? What bars are representing here? We got, you want to say your name or you want me to say it? We got Cooter Browns in the house. Cooter Browns. They've been telling TABC to go to hell. This guy, I got to brag on him for a second. You know, it takes courage to stand up to the greatest state in the union. It takes more courage to follow a 27-year-old kid that he's never met his entire life in the Freedom Fest without ever meeting him before. So, hats off to risking your business on behalf of Freedom Run. And that is the nicest thing I'll say to you for the rest of the week.
We got book eaters in the house. Sandra, there's another rebel out here.
Sandra Young's got like a 6-figure view video of TABC, her asking TABC about what is the definition of GA28. They couldn't even answer it. Can you tell how hard I'm trying not to cuss right now? Yeah, they couldn't answer it. So there's 6-figure views on that. It's insane that our regulatory small army, our third largest state police agency, if you will, can't even answer what Executive Order GA28 is, but it's their job to enforce it. So Sandra was able to prove that on the Facebook live stream, and it was incredible. It was actually incredible.
Backyard, got a Crosby right over there.
Backyard at Crosby.
Nathan, here, they just got their license suspended last week, but they opened up. They said they opened it up, and they opened up. They got a damn good chicken fried steak, too.
Amen to that. You guys don't sell hot dogs? You know, we did that big COVID-19, cooking with COVID rant the other day. I made that video, and my business partner Terry decided it'd be a great idea to sell hot dogs today. Who else we got? We got Gabrielle over at Big Daddy Zane's in Midland, Odessa. Gabby went to jail for this shit. the government's throwing a jammer at us. Bear with us for a second.
What else we got out there? We got.
Will you, one of you guys comment on there and say we're working on it? Okay, good deal.
We got T. Allen out here for the Machine Shed. Kilgore. He's another rebel.
Public enemy number one, the eyes of Greg Abbott. I think you hit him more than I do. Who else we got in the house? I know we have a whole bunch of bar owners. Big Springs, or Six Springs Tavern is here. I don't know, I can't see them with the lights in my face. Where are they at? Is that that?
Yeah.
I'll give him a shout out. He's hiding in there. Where's the gentleman that drove from Galveston? We're live.
There's our Galveston guy in the back. Galveston.
Thank you for making that drive, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Who else we got in here? What other bars you guys representing? I can't see you guys. The lights in my face. Yo, one more time. Out of Orange, Texas?
Orange, Texas.
Where the hell is Orange, Texas?
Louisiana.
Next to Shreveport or next to...
Charles, that's right at the border. Louisiana, Texas border.
You just go across that border, play some 8-liners.
Don't get hit by that hurricane, get a bunch of damage here like a couple weeks ago.
That's why he's here, he's seeking refuge. Hey, God bless you. Thank you for being here, my friend. Hey, I know there's more. You up too.
Hey, the TABC out there.
My name is Steve, Grand Prairie, Jack's Poorhouse.
God bless you. Grand Prairie, Texas in the house. The local bar owners coming to support. Beautiful. What else we got? Like I said, I know there's a bunch. Basin Nights from Odessa, Texas. That's a long drive too, looking at nothing. You look at Big Springs, then you look at Abilene, and then you look at Eastland, and then you're here. Right? That's it. In that order. Yeah. It's horrible. Horrible drive. God bless you for making the journey, my friend. Thank you guys for being here. Anyone else? We're good on sound. Everybody's got it. Terry, you can take a deep sigh, I believe. All right, let's give everybody a round of applause for Terry Johnson, who's having a panic attack over here with the live stream. Terry, thank you so much. I'm honored to have a business partner like you. Thank you for letting me be the pretty one. With that said, guys, you guys all remember doing the Pledge of Allegiance in school? Let's not forget while we are here to represent our country as free men that do not bow down to tyranny, that will enact the United States Constitution to protect us from that. So we all can. We have an American flag there. We have an American flag here. James is going to lead us in it. So you guys can all
everybody stand and remove their hats.
It's up to you. There's one there. There's one there.
Everyone. Give us all start. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah.
And if you guys could, one more time before you sit down, we're going to do the Star Spangled Banner and National Anthem. And then we will. We're ready to play ball. 51%, you guys ready to play ball or what?
Yeah.
thank you, first and foremost, to our unofficial sponsor, Greg Abbott, Betsy Price, and the domestic terrorist organization, Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, for building us a voice that is so big we can finally hit the greatest, most powerful state in the union back in the snot box for all the tyranny and abuse we've all been facing as 51%ers. If we have proven anything in the last 3 months, is that 51%er is not the type of business. No, it is an American mentality that we are here to protect.
We're all family. Everybody that comes out of our establishments are all family, and we want to protect that.
Into that, and I think that's something that's great to start off with, is the fact that I think the state of Texas has forgotten that. We did not unify regular people. We unified our competitors. We unified a way of life. If anyone cares, everyone in this room understands what a 51%er is, correct? We all know what that means. We're all in that industry, correct? But what separates us, and the reason why our industries are successful and our businesses are successful, we're able to feed our family, is because we might not have the greatest amount of money in our wallets. We might not have the advertising power or the nicest facilities in the world, but what we have that separates us from non-51%ers and from the rest of the corporations is the fact that we have the human element. We have hearts. We have regulars. You ever seen a regular at Chili's? No, you have not. So which leads us into what this is all about. It's kind of interesting, it's an election year, right? The same way you find a church is the same exact way you look for a 51% part. You're looking for like-minded individuals to go congregate with. So you can talk politics, you can talk shop, you can talk about your problems, and you can with like-minded individuals. Am I wrong for saying that? If you're a rock and roller, you're at the Rail Club. If you're a redneck hillbilly, you're at Shooter's. I couldn't help it. What I'm getting at is you got to keep in mind for this purpose of this stream, it's not just live music venues, it's not just neighborhood bars affected, it's VFWs, it's elk lodges, it's American Legions. And the most disgusting thing about that is the very men and women that sacrifice and risk everything for our government and for our freedoms are the same men and women that are constant on the street for protecting the very same government. And as a result, 22 veterans are killing themselves a day because even veterans are not allowed on 51% property. They're not allowed on VFW property. And then for those of you guys who do not know, VFWs are non-profit organizations, but they have liquor licenses to raise money, to fundraise, to be able to offer services to those veterans for PTSD, anxiety, and oftentimes it's the only family that they have. It's camaraderie, right? And that's been taken away. Regardless if they sell alcohol or not, veterans are not allowed on 51% property. They're not allowed the VFWs to seek that counseling, to seek that camaraderie, to seek that help. And to me, that is one of the worst things you could ever do to anybody. Because after all, like James said, when it's all said and done, we're family. This has made us family. Can I get a hell yeah for that? I mean, yeah. So the way this is going to go down is we're going to go in order. Starting in the kind of the preamble of this, Jim's going to talk on the first shutdown, right? And then we're going to lead into June 26th, and then we're going to go on from there. We're going to lay it all out on the table for you. We have some awesome speakers in the house today. Forgive me if I'm not looking at you guys. I'm looking at that camera too. We have some awesome speakers in the house today that have all been in the media for this, for all standing up to this unlawful and unjust executive order. So we'll be hearing from them. And the entire goal of this is to combine our reaches so that we can get Greg Abbott's daddy involved, the big D, Donald Trump. Because we need to let everybody know that freedom rings in the great state of Texas. Can I get a hell yeah for that? So with that said, they shut down the bars back in March, right? They shut everybody down. It was the first time we ever heard the term essential or non-essential business, correct? First time we ever heard the term social distancing. It's the first time that we found out that our jobs were unessential, right? But you know, as crazy as it might have felt at the time, whether we believed in it or not at that time, we all complied with it. We all followed the rules on that. And as a result, they opened this up in May. Sandra, do you want to talk on that? You had a beautiful little presentation as far as the preamble of this goes, if you want to speak on it. This is meant to be Educational for those that do not understand what it is that we're fighting for, because this has nothing to do with the bars. This has to do with your first, your second, your fourth, your fifth, your sixth, your seventh, and actually now your 8th Amendment. And if they're willing to take it from us, we're going to take it from you someday. I promise. I promise. And we're going to go step by step on why and how they're taking that from us. It's insane. You guys can't give it up. This is Sandra Young from Mokeeters in Humboldt, Texas.
Thank you so much. I have so I wouldn't ramble. Oh, here we go. Right in the middle. So I want to thank Chris for putting this all together, and I want to thank everybody for coming. It has been a real battle since March 19th. I opened my place on October 4th, 2009, and it's sort of, when you're an owner, it's almost like you're a child, like you nurture it, you support it, you take care of it, you pay for it. So on March 20th, they shut us down. Red 51%ers, restaurants, everyone. We complied. 62 days. Then we woke up on June 26th, and we had 3 hours to comply.
Out of nowhere.
That's a problem for me. So, a couple of weeks later, they said you can open with a full kitchen. So owners, desperate to open, started trying to put in commercial kitchens, which at least $50,000. Just wasn't realistic. So then, a couple of weeks later, they said you can temporarily modify your licensed premises and have your patio add to your occupancy. So I thought about that, but then I thought, can they use my facilities? Or do I gotta get a porta potty? And if they can use my facilities, why can't they sit down at the table and, have a drink? Then 2 weeks after that, they said if you have a permanent food truck, I own a food truck. I bought it specifically for the bar because I can't have an indoor kitchen. According to my environmental in Montgomery County, Texas, my septic is too small. So I had a owner's meeting on August 1st at my place, and the consensus was to open. But everybody was so afraid to open. So on August 2nd, I don't know if you want to call it an epiphany, I just conference called my staff, and I said, how do y'all feel about opening tomorrow morning? Of course, they said, let's rock it out. So we did. We have sanitizing stations, and I have masks optional, social distancing encouraged on the door. So on August 8th, TABC came and suspended my license for 60 days. That's the video where they could not quote the order. That was a problem for me. It's not important to them to even know it, then why the heck should I be having to follow it? And I just decided to say no. I'm not going to comply with this order. I ordered big. I stayed unsuspended in the system for 40 days. So I continued to order product and operate as usual. So, since August 8th, they have now said that we can buy a toaster oven from Walmart, cook a frozen pizza, and Corona won't attack you. with a hot dog or nachos and reclassify as a 51% blue, which is a restaurant, and pay the $776. Well, to me, that reminds me of that scene from Roadhouse when Brad Wesley walks into Red's shop and says, "Hey, you got my money?" And Red says no. And they tear up his stuff so he can't operate. Or maybe like in a mafia, if you operate in a certain area of a mob-controlled city, you pay them. To me, that's extortion in every sense of the word. Pay us, and you can operate exactly like you're operating. We are fighting a tyrant here. It's a beast, and there's just not enough unity. This is the most ununified industry I've ever seen in my life. I swore off rallies. I said I would never do another one. I was going to work on my place. But I'm here today because we have to fight. All of us together, unified. There is strength in numbers. We can beat this. And let me tell you a funny story. So my TABC officer called me day before yesterday. And he said they were very upset about the video. It was very obvious in our conversation that they are following my page. Everything I mentioned, he already knew. So I know they're looking. So he says, I said, man, I can't. It's extortion. Pay you money, reclassify to blue, and I can open just like I am. Yes. Just pay the money. Just pay it. And I said, well, I wondered why y'all ain't been coming in. And he said, well, there's that old gal out there in West Texas that videos us. And I said, oh, that's Gabby. I know her. She's my friend. And he said, yeah, so we're kind of doing things on the down low. I said, oh, okay. So I know y'all been in here, but they weren't in there in uniform. So he said, you looked at your license lately? And I said, yeah, I have 2 open violations for non-compliance of GA 28. He said, you sure about that? So I went to my page for the TABC.gov, and I have 7 open administrative cases against me right now. 2 for violation of GA 28, and 5 for selling while license was suspended. Now, I went by what was in their computer. It's not my fault they were behind on paperwork. He said his order supersedes. So here's where I'm at. I think I'm past the point of no return. Either, I think I've dug the hole so deep, but I'm not closing. I will open as a BYOB. I've saved the money to reapply, and I will get another liquor license. Our jugglers are exposed. We're laying here. We are dying. I think that it's on purpose. I can't understand why the COVID knows if your sign is red or blue, or whether or not you have a food truck. I really don't understand that. And let me just tell y'all that with turning blue, you are required to have them wear a mask till they sit down. If they get up to go to the bathroom, that's all a violation. That's a huge decision to make. When you signed up for your permits, you checked what you wanted to be. And this is what I want to be. And I'm not changing. So my officer said, just get the permit. Just talk to Lieutenant Chatham. Get the permit. I had no idea I was in the trouble that I'm in, because I'm in real big trouble. So he said, I'll tell you what. you get the permit, and I won't even make you post a blue sign. I won't violate you or write you a ticket for improper signage. You don't even have to tell anybody. So I thought, and I said, I'm not budging. That would make me a liar. That would make me a cheat. That would make me, and you know, I had a customer tell me, I heard what he said to you. Man, just get the blue. Just get the blue. And I said, if you think for 1 second that guy talking to me was my friend, you are sadly mistaken. TABC is not my friend. It's not their fault that all this is happening. But they're not my friend, and they're not here to help. I know Gianna at the Mingus, she has a deer lease in Mingus. They cashed her check on a Monday and denied her food permit on Tuesday. I believe this is a huge money grab. I think if we all unite together, we gotta quit being afraid. Y'all, I got 7 open administrative violations. It don't get much worse than that. I'm probably screwed, bleed, and tattooed, but I have a trust in God. And I want to share a passage that I look to a lot. It's Psalms 29:25. It says, the fear of man bringeth a snare, but whose putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe. I believe wholeheartedly what I am doing for my business and my workers and our community is the right thing to do wholeheartedly. I truly believe. I will not switch to blue. I will not pay TABC $1 in extortion money. And what I'm going to do is I got to tell you too, the videos. They're upset about the videos, but what I tried to explain to them about the videos was, we're just showing y'all, the 51 percenters, what happens when y'all come. Because nobody knows. So, with 7 violations in 3 weeks, I'm in a lot of trouble.
Don't get me started.
But it's, to me, worth the fight to continue to fight, and I won't close. And I'm hoping we'll join together. I know I did a Channel 11 news story, and I got a lot of positive feedback, and then Michael Berry, practically made me famous. The word is getting out. We need to just stand together. I believe TABC came in yesterday, day before yesterday, to ask me just to be quiet, quit telling y'all to open, submit, comply, get on the train. I'm not getting on that train. I'm not. And I don't want y'all to either, but I know it's scary because I'm living it. And when I saw that 7 administrative violations, you want to talk about suck the air out of your lungs. That's pretty devastating. So he says we're giving y'all 5 different ways around GA 28. I said, okay, you want to do us a favor? Waive the fee, make us temporarily blue till this passes over. And he said, well, actually, there's legislation. And I said, blah, 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 blah. There you go. You want to help us? Waive the fee. I got the fee. I can pay the fee. I'm not being extorted. It's just not going to happen. They brought me paperwork to show me why the mandate's a law. That the governor, during an epidemic, his mandate makes it law. Well, okay. Now we're being discriminated against. Flat out discriminated against. There's not another industry closed, minus our 51% reds. I think they want us to go away. I really do. Only us. So what are we going to do? Are we going to stand and juggler exposed and wait for them to kill us all? Or can we just say, thank you for your time, officer. We'll see you later. Have a nice day. And put a big sign on your building that says, We refuse to shut down. Support your local business. No matter, I'm going to keep everybody posted with my updates and what happens with me. No matter what happens, trust in God. If you feel like you don't have that, if you can't make that decision to open, I've talked to every bar in my town personally. Everyone is too afraid to open. I'm not sure why. TABC, I fear God, and the IRS and the comptroller, and TABC isn't part of that list. So whatever they do can be undone. This is all temporary. All this is temporary. Why they're not treating it as such is peculiar to me. But the bottom line is we're not going to get anywhere with just Bokeeters, or just Six Springs, or just backyard. We have to all say together, thank you for your time. We're going to respectfully decline. Take whatever, the only thing you can't do on a suspended license is buy or sell your product. So they are Brad Wesley's men and they stab your oil so you can't sell it. So order big. And I promise you, your customers are going to be so grateful and so gracious and so happy you're open. If you do run out, they'll go something else. They have no problem. I've been open since August 3rd. I will not close.
Give it up!
I will not close. Thank you so much.
Well, back on that,
I love you so much.
one other,
All I was going to say is we're going to let the speakers we're going to let them get 5 minutes to tell their story, every single person up here, as well as, there's countless in the audience as well. If you guys feel like speaking, feel free to sign up. But we're going to let them tell their stories. I've been blessed, and they've humbled me by grabbing all of the speakers have been all over the media and stuff, the bar owners and stuff, to be able to combine our reaches together. These guys are very influential and incredible people, very brave patriots, so please give it up to T. Allen.
T. Allen.
Thank you. It's good to see everybody over here showing the support. Everybody. Wow, where do I start? So I'm just going to jump straight into it. My anxiety's a little up today, so I'm not going to talk for too long on this one. So we bought the bar in February. Now, we bought a bar that had a kitchen, had a full commercial kitchen, and we chose that bar because it had that kitchen, because my therapy is food. And so we always intended on cooking. We always intended on serving chicken fried steak and ribeyes and burgers and biker balls and all of these things. So what we did is we got licensed through the state of Texas, which is what you have to do to operate a restaurant. We already had that. $258 sent off to Austin, retail license, posted on the door of the kitchen. We opened in March 6th, and then we were shut down in March.
For what?
Because Kingless Abbott said we can't sell our alcohol. So we closed for a minute. And in April, I opened back up. Under the radar. What, a good 3 weeks, Jason? Before we got in trouble again. We opened back up and we got a lawyer and we stayed open. And then let's just jump straight to June. So I woke up just like every one of you after working a long night in a bar on June 26th with 3 hours. 3. We had just spent $3,000 in inventory because we were having a benefit the next day for a child with leukemia. A child. So I got pissed off. Oops, I'm not allowed to say that.
You say piss?
There's no F-bombs coming out of me today. I got mad. And then within 2 days, I was able to put together a protest for the 28th. And we probably had, there was a lot of people there, hundreds. There was a lot of people there. And I said, if I'm going to get that suspension, I'm going to sell as much beer and food as I can today. And that's what we did. And on July 4th, on Independence Day, the Nazis came knocking. I'm going to touch on something you said. She's right. And on July 4th, we were closed. It was Independence Day. They called me to my bar that's closed at 9:30 at night. And the Nazis from Arlington came down and personally suspended me. So we stayed open. I've had some motivators. You know, something that Sandra said makes a lot of sense. They're not your friends. Now, my TABC guy is nice to me, my local one, but he's still not my friend. They're going to raid us tonight, just like they do every Saturday. A lot of stuff's happened. I want to talk about this food beverage. So I did it. I got extorted. I did it. They took $776 from an unemployed person, or a person who's barely employed, not supposed to be employed. $31 to overnight it. Then they don't open it for 3 days because they think Rona's done touched your money. And within 8 days, I had the blue 51%. I'm legal, right? Now I can keep doing what I was always doing, selling a burger, selling a beer. And they come 3 days later and told me that I had to close down because my percentages were off. I'm not understanding blue and red. It's almost like Crips and Bloods. I mean, they turned what we're doing into gang signs.
For those, I'm sorry, let me interrupt you. For those of you guys who do not know what she's referring to with the blue and the red, red means you are a 51%er. A 51%er is anyone that generates 50% or more gross revenue from the sale of alcohol, whereas blue is the opposite. They still have labor licenses, but they sell more food or non-alcoholic products. Just so you guys are on the same page. Blue is non-51%er, red is 51%er. So, just
And if you think you can sell 51% food, let me tell you something, only if you're lying. Only if you're rigging your register can you do that. So TABC says it's 60-40, by the way, but Abbott says it's 51%. Why is he doing this to us? We all want to know that. Because then they can track your sales better and they can collect more taxes. I know a bar right now that just got shut down. They went and got their 51% blue, but they were ringing up chips and salsa and really selling beer, and they got busted. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So we're still open. We're still open. I paid that $776. Like Chris always says, and like some of us got the tattoo, I got mine here. Come and take it. Come and take it. I'm going to touch on one other thing, and then I'm going to sit down. I want to touch on the things that we're not talking about today. Depression. Losing everything you worked your butt off. I don't care who you are, what your past is, what people say about you. I don't care if you're a pope. I don't care if you love God or if you don't love God. That's your personal decision. I love my God. You have a right to your business. And it is essential to make a living. It is. And what comes along with this is the late nights, the days you don't want to get out of bed. So you lie on Facebook and say we're having a maintenance issue. The bar can't open, but really you're just not getting out of bed. That's my life. That's where I am. I saw Chris put something the other day, and he said it's getting harder and harder. I'm not one to cry a lot, and I cried for him because I feel that. Last week, I took a razor and I slit both of my wrists in my bathtub in a shirt, and that's how my husband found me. Am I a coward? You can call me what you want. I'm tired. And I want back what I worked for. And you should want what you worked for. And that's where I am. And I'm telling you guys that not to feel sorry for me. And this is the last thing I'm going to say. If you are tired and you're depressed, you need to know you're not alone. There is somebody out there that will hear you. Don't get to where I am. Hang on. Hang in. Thank you.
Next we got Gabrielle Ellison. She's the one that she got put in jail for this. She's the one that got put in jail. She was on Facebook, had the handcuffs going on and everything. So let's give her a hand.
I've never seen a pair of handcuffs look so good on somebody my entire life, though. Just in the spirit of transparency here.
Okay, I'm going to do something a little different. I would like to give my bartender a little bit of time because I think one thing that we're missing out of all of this is what these bartenders have went through too, man. They're having a hard time feeding their families. My biggest motivation with staying open was for my girls. Tris, can you please come up, tell a little bit of your story, baby? I'd like to give some of my time to you.
Absolutely, give a round of applause for every bartender risking their neck every single day in the name of freedom and protecting their business.
It's okay, come here, that's all right. Hey, that's all right.
It's okay, I have a really good therapist and I used to be able to afford it.
Now, most of you bar owners out there, y'all are doing y'all's bartenders right. I'm so proud of y'all for this. That's one thing I hear a lot about when I talk to bar owners is about their bartenders. That is so awesome. I love my girls. I don't know about y'all, but I love my girls.
Carla, can you come see me real quick?
I couldn't make no money without them. And especially this one.
I don't really know where to start. I want to cry every time I talk about this. It's a nightmare. It's a freaking nightmare. Our customers miss us. I worry about them all the time. If I don't see Mike Stanford for a day, I'm like, where the hell is Mike Stanford? You know? They're not, my customers are my family. They're all I got. I live in Texas by myself. I don't, no family, this is my mom. This is all I got. This job is all I got. Oh, my customers are my family. I don't know how to explain it. This is hard, and I hate seeing everybody struggle. And I want to go home and see my kids and miss my kids. I can't. I can't leave this bar. I can't leave her. I can't leave my family. I can't leave. For one, I can't make no money. You know, they took away. I'm not just a bartender. I'm an unpaid therapist. This is my family. This is everything I got. And I hate watching everybody struggle. I hate watching you struggle. I hate it. I mean, she won't even get off her couch because she's hurting and she's tired. And we're stressed out every day because we don't know when TABC is going to come and take our shit. So, whatever. I'm pissed. It's bullshit. And I want everybody to open up.
That she's willing to put on a set of handcuffs for me, and I bet your girls are too, and your guys. But they're willing to go to jail behind y'all too. Because this
Yeah,
one
they have
is.
some fuzzy stuff on them though. It's the only way I'm putting on handcuffs. I mean, but if I gotta do it for you to keep our door open, we're gonna do it. So we're staying open. We're not closing. I need that money. You need that money. Our customers need us. They're our family. Open up your doors. F Abbott. Hot Wheels. Whatever you want to call him. He doesn't deserve the position he has in the state.
We're working on that.
Me too. Thank you. I didn't call
You know, like I said at the beginning, our customers are our family, but not only our customers, but our employees. They're all our families too. And like we're the only family they have, some of them. And your veterans at the VFW, the only family they have is the VFW post and everybody there. So this affects everything, and so much. And people out there, the public, do not know how deep this affects everybody, from the bartenders to the bands to the salesman of your alcohol to everything. You know, the ticket sales, everybody it affects. So it goes deep, 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 more than just the 51% bars. So the shutdown affects a whole lot of people in this country, this state.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that's real important to recognize our staff, especially you that are open, because I'm telling you, this staff will go to jail for us. They're good. That girl's been good to me. She's been real good to me. I have a bartender that's been with me for 25 years. Fought cancer 3 times. She's been good to me. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm not going to sit up here and waste a lot of y'all's time, because these 2 ladies, where'd she go to? They did pretty good on talking and getting some good old points. Basically, back way when this first started happening, we were all scared to death. We were, you know, oh God, we're going to die, the world's going to end. We did a speakeasy.
I didn't want my customers, a lot of my customers are vets. They don't have a place to go. They don't have people to talk to. So we did a speakeasy. We set up my garage back there, and believe it or not, it stayed full, and we had a good time. I contacted my mayor. My mayor said, okay, Gabby, you can open. 3 hours later, he told me no. So I got pissed. Met this good group of guys. Anthony's sitting right there. They get with me and they come on out and they are practicing their Second Amendment to protect my First. I firmly believe in my guns. Chris Clone's got a good group. You've got, let me tell you what, OCT, they're family for life now.
We just needed to level the playing field a little bit.
They're family for life. They'll check on you and they'll have your back. So anyway, I went to jail. They came in with a SWAT team. They took our guys to jail, they took me to jail, and they came in with a SWAT team. So I got arrested. Now I've been suspended once, I've been suspended twice. They frozen my bank account. They're coming after taxes that, they probably are last year's the more I looked at it. But, I mean, I've gotten 3 years behind on my taxes before. They're doing everything they can. But the way that I feel about it, when Sandra first opened, I talked to her quite a bit, and she was scared to death. But we got her open. Because the whole point of it is you're closed, your license are no good. I mean, they're no good. They're not doing you any good anyway. Make some money. Who was it the other day? You guys, y'all got shut down. And the first thing, 30-day suspension, the first thing I put on your deal was, boy, here's your 30 days worth of freedom. Make your money. Because they can't do nothing else to you now. Amen. So you're already screwed. Whoever's not open, let's get open. That's right. They can't do nothing. Make your money. Enjoy your freedom for 30 days. That's right.
If there's a toilet paper shortage, you can wipe your ass with it.
Oh, good Lord, yes. Oh, good Lord, yes. But anyway, y'all stand behind your bars, stand behind your girls, and let's stay open. And God, hey, I want to say one thing. I don't know if y'all are praying people. I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know you. But I promise you, you're in my prayers every night. In my prayers every night. God bless y'all.
This doesn't have anything to do with their bars. This has everything to do with being Americans.
All right, okay, thank you. Next we got Rodney
Worley.
Cooter Brown.
My vicious competitor 20 minutes down the road.
Brother, I don't know how I'm following a 27-year-old kid around doing this, but you know what? I latched on to you and I'm not letting go.
I turned 28 not too long ago, actually.
28. I got kids your age, man.
Respect me, damn it.
All right, guys, so my name's Rodney Worley. I'm owner, me and my wife, of Cooter Brown's down in Burleson, Texas. Me and my wife bought Cooter Brown's 10 years ago, to be exact. We sunk everything we had into this bar. I've got some of my staff sitting here with me, a couple of my bartenders, my DJ flash bouncer, again, the same thing with everybody else. They would go to jail for me if it came down to it. We've already had this discussion. But, man, I don't have a whole lot to say about any of this. Sandra, you said something a while ago you want me to, everybody does understand that TABC has nothing to do with food, right? TABC, that doesn't have anything to do with food.
At all.
At all. So why they're enforcing that, I have no idea. But, long story short, like I said, we put pretty much everything we had in this. During the first shutdown, we spent almost $10,000 to remodel the bar. And then 28 days later, they shut us back down again. Man, I don't know how we can ever recover off of what's happening right now. But we're not going to quit. Our doors are open. We refuse to stand down. We're not going to stand down. You know, the only way I'm coming out of my bar is they're putting me in cuffs, put my hands behind my back, and walk me out. That's the only way that it's going to happen. TABC came in to visit with me for the first time after I reopened, and they decided that they were going to tell me that they singled out, they were ordered to target 51% bars. After I asked them to go down the street and look at Chili's or Fridays or any of those, they refused.
And it's on camera.
And it's on camera online.
And we're going to be exploiting the living hell out of that, Governor Greg Abbott.
Yes, they are. But guys, I don't have a whole lot more to touch on that. I just, anybody needs anything from me or Chris or any of my staff or any of these bar owners that need some help doing something, and all I can tell you is open your door. Open your door. Don't stand down. Stand your ground on it, guys.
Amen.
God bless everybody.
Amen. We're almost done with the introductions, and then we're going to go topic by topic by topic, exposing the corruption and educating the public to what it is that we're actually up against and what this is truly about. You guys give it up to the man, the myth, the legend, James Kopech, the owner of one of the owners of Shooter Grounds. Wow. Shooter's Dance Hall Saloon in Pasadena, Texas.
Okay, well, the first thing I want to talk about, or topic I want to bring up, is that this was brought up about 2 weeks ago. I seen it, and somebody had posted it, and then Garrett posted it. It's the TABC Code, the application of code other jurisdictions. It's 109.57. Is anybody familiar with that code? Okay?
Of course you did.
So, I'll read the first part of it so y'all know it's... Okay, it's right there. So, I had called TABC on this, and I said, I need your interpretation of this code. And I've talked to 3 different people, and nobody could give me interpretation. One of them told me, so my interpretation is the red should not have a harsher penalty than the blue. You know, TABC said, well, they're the same permit. Well, if they're the same permit, then how come we're closed down and they're not? You know, she didn't have an answer to that. So she sent me to somebody else. And then she's telling me that, oh, well, that means if you don't have a permit, then we don't just, you know, you can't have a harsher penalty. I said, but if we don't have a permit, you don't have any jurisdiction over us. So that's not true. And she said, yeah, you're right. And so they're going to give me somebody else. And nobody else has called me yet. It's been 2 weeks. Nobody else has called me on that yet. So, I mean, my interpretation of that is the red should not have a harsher penalty than the blue. Does everybody agree to that?
Absolutely. That's actually part of legislation. That's actually written into law.
Yeah, that's their code. So, that's what anybody got any comments on that? I mean, that's what we try to be hitting on. TABC.
Sandra Young, ladies and gentlemen, coming with a death blow.
All right. This is section 10957, application of code or other jurisdictions in our TABC manufacturer wholesale handbook. It says, except as expressly authorized by this code, a regulation, charter, or ordinance promulgated by a government entity of the state may not impose stricter standards on premises or businesses required to have a license or permit under this code that are imposed on similar businesses or premises that are not required to have such a license or permit. B, it is the intent of this legislature that this code shall be exclusively governed for the regulation of alcoholic beverages, not food, alcoholic beverages in this state, and that except as permitted by this code, a government entity of this state may not discriminate a business holding a license or permit under this code. And that is exactly what they are doing to Red 51%ers. Now we're discriminated. Now he has singled us out. We're the only ones not open. They can't do that to us, y'all.
But it gets worse. The biggest difference, we get compared a lot to our stories with Shelley Luther. And I love that woman. I've got to meet her personally, and she's incredible. She's a very brave woman. She was 100% right in her standing. But the biggest difference between 51%ers and Shelley Luther's story is we don't answer to a licensing company that sits behind a desk. No. We answer to the 3rd largest state police agency in the state of Texas that are armed to the teeth in flak jackets and guns and tasers that put small armies in your building and exploit and extort you to the full extent that they possibly can. They have just about the same jurisdiction as the gang lord. So this is a very serious matter, and the entire reason why it hasn't got the coverage it deserves is because unfortunately none of us have bled yet. They're just slowly trying to start us out. And that's why we've gathered you guys all here today, is to make sure that the world knows what's taking place here in Texas. I've been waiting to speak on this for the last 3 months. How are we feeling, Rail Club? I'm angry to a T. And first off, we're going to take a break here in a little bit with the entire reason why we did these introductions, so you guys would know who everybody was and who's a part of this right now, so that we can go into the topic at hand, and we're going to take you step by step with first count scenarios, as well as physical proof that corruption is involved, that exploitation is involved, extortion, harassment, fear tactics. Hell, they're following me home. In unmarked squad cars, following me home. It's insane what is taking place here in Texas. And the only people, unfortunately, that give a damn about the 51% situation here in Texas are the bar owners, their employees, the veterans, and their regulars. So in the beginning, on June 26, Greg Abbott signed Executive Order GA-28. And what that order is basically he told us all that patrons cannot patronize bars. But it's important to understand that Greg Abbott is an attorney. He worded it 100% correctly, okay? It's important to understand that Greg Abbott did not close down the bars. He closed down the 51% bars, which are made up of nothing but small business owners, VFWs, elk lodges, American Legions, independent live music venues, and a couple honky-tonks. After coming out of the 90-day shutdown in March into May, it's easy to say that being a small business owner, I think I can speak for everybody and all 51%ers when I say this, we all stay by the skin of our teeth financially. Big time. And we all complied for the most part. Because after all, it was all about public safety and taking care of your fellow brother and sister, and that's what 51%ers stand for to begin with. So, with Executive Order GA-28, when it came into play, it makes very little sense on why you can't open up a 51% business, but you can go stand asses to elbows at Hurricane Harbor with no shirt on, just basically on top of one another. It made no sense that you could not put 40 people in the Rail Club Live in an 800 capacity room, but you go to Chuck E. Cheese, order a pizza, lick a token machine, and then order a Bud Light. But unfortunately, it made perfect sense all along, and we're going to get into that.
Most city officials will.
You're absolutely right. Greg Abbott has given explicit authority to the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission to enforce GA-28. One of the reasons, I'm glad you brought that up, one of the reasons we brought you guys here today is to prove to you once and for all that this has nothing to do with public safety. It has everything to do with the root of all evil, money and politics. And it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you follow. The message is perfectly clear. So June 26, 2020, we took that, the 51%ers took that as a death sentence. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Mind you, we all were shut down for 90 days. We're all broke. Every single 51%er has a lawsuit against the state. The problem with suing the most powerful state in the union is the miles and miles and miles of red tape and immunities that they put in front of them to protect them from the general public. So that when they do wrong, you can't hold them accountable. To take it up a notch, mind you, 90-day shutdown, bar owners, after being shut down again, have to make the hard decision. Do we hire an attorney? Or do we pay our overhead? It was a crippling blow. Greg Abbott woke up June 26, shook his bottle game up after listening to his assistant say, hey, COVID numbers are going through the roof. We gotta do something, Abbott. What are we gonna do? He grabbed his little bottle game and they shake it up. And it says protesters right there. And they're like, oh no, we're not touching that one. We're not touching the protesters. We're not gonna talk about the 60,000 people marching in Houston with no mask on, being the cause of spread of this virus. No, hell no, we're not touching that. He shakes it up again. And he says increased testing. Oh no, that makes way too much sense for the general public. No way. We need to scare the hell out of these people into submission. So he shakes it again. He says bars. Well, hell, we can't afford to close down all the bars because I'd like to remind everybody in this room, Chili's has the same exact liquor license as the Rail Club Live. Applebee's has the same exact liquor license as Rail Club Live. My biggest competitor, God bless him for being open, is Gas Monkey Bar and Grill. We have the same identical business model. They're open, I'm not. We have the same license, different permits. For the first time in the history of the world, of mankind, public safety is boiled down to the gross revenue generated by hot dogs as opposed to the gross revenue generated by Miller Lights. And that's something that I'm not going to stand down for. So what do we do with 51%ers? As I said before, we have proven over the last 3 months that being a 51%er is not a type of business. It's a mentality. And in fact, I want to credit it to being one of the most American professions you can have, aside from serving in the armed forces, or aside from being a fireman or a police officer. Because I'd like to remind everybody the United States Marine Corps was founded in a tavern in Philadelphia. The most elite, badass fighting force in America was founded in a tavern. The epicenter of every revolution, including the Revolutionary War that put us all here to this day, for us to be able to celebrate and practice life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the American Revolution was founded by the Sons of Liberty in a tavern. Or tavern to tavern to tavern. And that is what we are here to protect. So getting into my point, after June 26, realizing that we were damned if we did, damned if we didn't, we were on the brink of losing everything, we decided, we being the Rail Club Live, we decided to open up for the Rail Club Tea Party July 4th. For those of you guys who do not know my background, I've only been a bar owner for the last 2 years. Been a concert promoter on the side my entire life, but my primary bread and butter is I was a hazardous materials specialist for private companies. And what that means is I went all over the country decontaminating bird flu, Ebola in Dallas. I fought some of the biggest fires, the biggest oil spill in United States history, the BP oil spill. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. What I'm getting at is I used to make these plans, these safety plans for the state of Texas and for the federal government. So the entire plan was July 4th with the Rail Club Tea Party was to demonstrate a reopening plan to let bars open safely to where we could all reopen, right? Hence you see it right here in front of you. We sold no alcohol. There was no money in the till. And I was public enemy #1. You guys should have seen my inbox back then. Every time the media would do a story on me, it was death threat, death threat, death threat, death threat, death threat, death threat. I even got a letter of 100 ways I could kill myself, which was actually pretty creative. And now they're giving me awards. But what I'm getting at is on July 4th, 2020, the Rail Club Live Tea Party, TABC suspended our liquor license on national television. Here's the kicker. There's 40 people in this room, all social distancing out. We checked everybody's temperature. When was the last time you went to even a restaurant that checked your temperature? Hell, I'm willing to bet none of you guys have walked into a facility getting your temperature checked other than when you went to the doctor's office. I'm willing to bet that. On top of that, we handed out those little bottles of hand sanitizer you see on every single one of your tables. We made everybody wear a mask, whether you believed in it or you didn't. I'm here to tell you I don't believe in it, but it was perception is key in everything, right? Here was the beautiful kicker. We did not sell alcohol. There was not $1 in the till. We did not charge for admission. It was a protest. And what is important to note there is they suspended our liquor license on national television. Apparently it's against the law for me to say this, but I'm going to look you dead in the face in the camera. Agent Edward Norton with the TABC suspended our liquor license on national television, no alcohol in here. He literally stated, after me telling him on national TV, that we're just protesting. There's just protesters, there's no money involved. He said it doesn't matter. The only people allowed on 51% property, apparently, is the owners or the operators of the building, which means my staff isn't allowed in my building, which means my mother isn't allowed in this building. My children are not allowed in this building. We are breaking the law right now. We're not even selling out. I'm sorry, we're breaking an executive order right now, and we're not even selling alcohol. So what I'm getting at is that would fall into eminent domain, correct? Right? It would fall into eminent domain. When you close something down for public use, to build a road over it, or in this case, public safety, and you take control of their property, you have to compensate them. That is covered in one of your amendments. I believe it's your 11th or 12th. It's covered in there. The problem is the way Greg Abbott worded it. He said patrons will not patronize bars, but because of the Dram Shop Act that holds bar owners accountable for the mistakes of the patrons, we are held accountable. What I'm getting at, the entire point is they have seized our property. We are not allowed to have our music schools in here. We're not allowed to host our church services in here. We're not allowed to host weddings, and none of you guys can either. The VFWs can't even have their veterans on property, or they're in violation of GA 28, they will suspend your license. Last time I checked, Greg Abbott did not buy the Rail Club Live. The taxpayer did not buy the Rail Club Live. I watched me do it. And I'm pretty sure you bought yours. The taxpayers didn't have anything. No welfare, right? No welfare to give? Anything? No? No? I was really scared you were going to yell at me or something. What I'm getting at is they have seized control of our properties to make it even worse. That's considered adverse condemnation, because eminent domain is when they pay you to do it. It's legal, but they have to pay you to do it. The problem is it's completely the opposite. It's adverse condemnation. They are not allowing us to generate revenue, and we're paying them to do it. Via property taxes, sales taxes, fines. Yet they expect us to pay our lease, they expect us to pay our mortgages, they expect us to pay our utility bills, they expect us to pay our staff. And the list goes on and on and on. There has been no rebate or refund to any of our liquor licenses that we have not been able to use in what, 7 months now? 6, 7? It's been 7? It's either damn near or it is. Regardless, that's a long time. These things, it cost me $15,000 to obtain one. Once the bonds and the insurance and the cost of liquor license go out, and we have not been able to use it, I'm here to tell you, I can open up legally. We all could right now if we ripped up our little bitty piece of paper that our liquor license basically. We rip that up, we can open up, put 1,000 people in here, nobody would say a thing. We are literally bound to a liquor license. They hold us to a higher standard, which none of us have ever had a problem with. What I'm getting at is your liquor license is not only tied to your property, it's tied to your business, it's tied to you personally. They hold you accountable that way, which to a degree I agree with. If I were to make a mistake and get a DWI, that'd be a strike on my liquor license I get in trouble for. It's just a way to keep you an outstanding citizen. The reason why I'm telling you all this is because we are not criminals. We are not bad people. TABC, Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, defines an outstanding citizen as a man or woman that possesses some sort of alcohol permit. Some of us go through 6-month background checks to obtain one. I believe in protesting to stand up for your better man, or for your fellow man. But I would like to remind everybody, we didn't pass a fake counterfeit bill. We didn't do any of that. We protested and peacefully assembled, not in downtown Fort Worth. We didn't block traffic. No, we did it in our own buildings. And we not only were denied that right for our First Amendment, we were also issued repercussions for it. And that, July 4th, is what pissed me off. In 2 ways. One, I was so naive to think, I'm mad at myself being so naive to think that I could pitch a safety operating procedure and allow bars to open up. In fact, the dumbest thing I've ever said on national television was this. A reporter asked me, what side of the political spectrum do you fall on July 4th? And I said, ma'am, I quoted Ronald Reagan. He said, there's no left, there's no right, there's an up and there's a down. All I want to do is open my business. So it has nothing to do with politics. Boy, was I wrong. Because after they suspended our liquor license on national TV, it pissed a lot of people off. No money, no sales whatsoever. And therefore, a movement was born. I found out there was like-minded individuals out there that were fighting the fight, and we didn't even know each other were fighting the fight. Remind you, these guys sitting on the stage with me, these guys are my competitors. The bar owners in this room, they're our competitors. Our competitors, we didn't unify regular people, we unified our damn competitors. And when this is all said and done, hell yeah, give that up. That is major to the American, that's big to the American way of living, especially in this country where everything is so divided. So divided. Think about it, guys. Take a brief moment to reflect. We could talk right now, I could talk one-on-one with every single one of you. And I'm not going to say I'm for or with either the examples that I'm making right now, but eventually we'll get to the point to where, at some point down the line, we're divided. Think about it. BLM protests, you're for it or you're against it. Antifa protests, you're for it or you're against it. Sending your kids to school, remote learning, you're for it or you're against it. Mail-in ballots, you're for it or you're against it. Vaccine or no vaccine, you're for it or against it. COVID-19, you believe in it, you don't believe in it. The bar movement, you're for it or you're against it. The list goes on and on and on. Republican or conservative, conservative or liberal. And like I said, it goes on and on and on and on. So like I said, no matter what, I can sit down with every single one of you and we go down the list of things that divide us. And eventually we will find something. Do you not think that that's done on purpose? It absolutely is. That's the reason why we're gathered here today, is to show you. One of the biggest hurdles we all had to overcome when creating this movement was on June 26, 2020, and correct me and yell at me if I'm wrong here. Every freaking bar owner and their mother called TABC. Because mind you, like Sandra said, we had 3-hour notice.
Full inventory. When every bartender and waitress, it was Friday, they had no money, they were ready to make money for the weekend, and at 10 o'clock he says, y'all shut down at noon.
On a weekend, after buying all of your inventory. And we're a live concert venue. We don't just open our doors and 800 people show up. No, it cost me about 10 grand to sell this room out. And to advertise that. It doesn't matter if you book AC/DC if nobody knows that you booked AC/DC. So you're constantly spending money to put people in this room after coming out of a 90-day shutdown just for a 3-hour notice? Are you kidding me?
People will know if you book George Strait though.
Come into my house! All right, James Kopeck 1, Chris Pallone 1. All right, then we got a scoreboard. That's good.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break.
Hey, yeah,
Give everybody a
like
chance to smoke, get a drink of water.
Let's reconvene here in 15 minutes.
I'm ready for a beer.
We'll be out shaking hands, kissing babies. If you guys want to, I can't say it on the street. I can't say it on the street. Let's take a break, use the bathroom. You can smoke out front, or I'm sorry, out back or out front. We'll be out shaking hands. Love to get to know you guys. And we'll reconvene here in 15 minutes. Joe, will you give me a hootie here when we're at 15-minute mark? Yeah. Okay. And we're going to dive immediately into July 4th, moving up forward. Thank you, guys.
Roll the wheels going here. So Chris is going to start out here, and he's going to give a couple talking points and get started about the abuse that's going on.
Everybody wants to hear about the abuse. If you guys want to join us back on stage, Sandy, Gavin, up to you guys. All right, so we're going to dive into, we just did the introduction part of this, and my goal is to get us all out of here by 6 o'clock to be able to knock the hell out of the government, going and celebrating over at Cooter Brown's, as much as it pains me to take you guys all to my competitors. But before I do so, I got to tell you why we're facing so much abuse. Like I was stating with July 4th, we sold no alcohol, there's no money in the tills, right? We were protesting, pitching a safety operating plan to suspend our license on national TV. Forgive me for being redundant, I'm just repeating it for the stream. They suspended our license, right? They violated our First Amendment. They also took over our property, they won't allow us to generate any revenue, so we're pissed, right? So, we stood alone in that one, and other bars started to stand up to this tyranny. And as a result, we all became friends. One of the hardest things we had to do was overcome the mass confusion that was taking place. Because as I was stating before, when you close down the bars, the 51%ers, every bar owner and their mother calls TABC asking for answers. The problem is every single one of us got a different answer. And still to this day, we're all getting different answers. That's designed, that's done on purpose to cause mass confusion. So the hardest thing we had to overcome in creating this movement was getting everybody on the same page. And the way you do that is by leading through example. So, by the grace of God, we were able to do that. Finally, we're all on the same page. We're all fighting the same exact fight in the right way, in the good way. Right? And we remind everybody we've not burnt anything down, we've not rioted, we've not looted, we've not hurt, or we've threatened to hurt anyone. We were outstanding citizens as defined by TABC for having liquor licenses. So we took it up a notch July 25th with Freedom Fest. You guys remember that? We proved not only in front of the eyes of the state of Texas, but on national television, with the help of 797 bars from across the great state of Texas, we all implemented the same safety operating procedures. We got handshakes and high fives across the board from health code officials, from municipalities, from sheriffs, from mayors, and politicians. The list goes on and on and on. Did TABC shut down one of those Freedom Fests? Hell no, they didn't. You know what they did? They issued everybody 30-day suspensions 2 days after the fact. 2 days after the fact. So getting to my point here, to prove once and for all this has nothing to do with public safety. On July 25th, TABC agent, apparently it's illegal for me to say this, TABC agent, undercover agent Erica Moore walked into our establishment during Freedom Fest. And they filmed it. 12 seconds of beautiful social distancing and no alcohol sales at all. She told Ben, our door guy, that she had to use the bathroom. Yeah, that's what she said. I, coincidentally, had my TABC court hearing the next day. Okay? It's very important you guys understand how that works. When your license gets suspended, you have the option to appeal it, and you go through a hearing via Zoom. Okay? You don't lawyer up. You don't do any of that, and I'll tell you why. You don't because you're suspended for 30 days, you're not going to go to court until week 3. And you're not going to get your verdict until 2 days prior to your suspension being up. And it doesn't matter if you win or you lose, it doesn't change the fact your license is suspended, and it doesn't change the fact whether or not you're allowed to legally open up your business. It just doesn't matter, it's a waste of fucking time. There, I dropped the F-bomb. I get one.
You told us we couldn't do that.
I know it, I'm a hypocrite, I'm sorry. Everybody gets mad. Anyways, when I did my court hearing with TABC on July 27th, Agent Andrew Norton with the TABC got on the stand. Mind you, I represented myself, and they were trying to implicate more penalties against me for hosting Freedom Fest. Mind you, this TABC hearing was in regards to our opening on July 4th. When it was my turn to cross-examine Agent Andrew Norton with the TABC, first thing I asked him was, how do you know I'm open? Let's make something clear. We weren't hiding the fact that we were open, but TABC cannot testify that we were open unless they were in our room, right? They said that they had undercover agents in here. When I asked Agent Andrew Norton on the stand, under oath of God, who that undercover agent was, would you prove? He said he couldn't answer that question. It's a violation of your Fifth Amendment. You have the right in this country to face your accuser. So we've already proven they violated the first, we just proved they violated the fifth, okay? As a result, as soon as I got done with that court hearing, I went on Facebook Live and I told the world that I was not allowed to face my accusers. So as a result, the third largest state police agency, Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, or what I like to call them, GAS, Greg Abbott Special Security, posted the 12-second long undercover video on the state agency's official Facebook page. And it's still on there to this day. Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission posted the 12-second undercover video of Agent Erica Moore walking in here July 25th. They put it on the internet. By doing so, they exploited me. They tried to humiliate me by doing so. It didn't work. All they did was show that we were doing everything perfect, you know? But the point is as a result, I got more death threats and I wasn't able to see my kids. More death threats. Where is the integrity in that? I'm not a politician. I'm not a priest. I'm a 51% bar owner. We can say whatever the hell we want to, but coming from a state agency that carries firearms and stuff like that, putting it on their state agency's Facebook page, that is the definition of exploitation right there. Right there. You guys have no integrity. At all. Moving forward with it. Because things get worse, don't they? Everything gets worse. Every day these guys continue to escalate and escalate. I want to remind everyone in this room, we are outstanding citizens by TABC's definition. And every single day it escalates more and more and more and more. We showed up August 14th to the Capitol, to TABC's headquarters in Austin, Texas. It's important everybody knows that TABC's, according to their motto, and I'm going to butcher it, paraphrasing here, according to their motto is to protect the community and serve businesses. Something like that, something along those lines.
That's right.
Yeah, they need to redo it. They need to redo it. Because we showed up to TABC's headquarters. Mind you, they're here to serve us. We answer to them, they answer to us, and for decades, we have worked hand in hand finding solutions to problems to protect the public safety and to run our businesses. For the first time in our lives, we show up, and guess what? They were all working from home.
They knew we were coming.
They knew
we were coming. We advertised it. We said we're coming. We're going to TABC Friday at noon. They closed at 11.
Instead, we were met by off-duty San Antonio police officers in Austin, Texas. We were met by Austin off-duty police officers. The third largest state police agency in the state of Texas could not protect their own building. We didn't go out there to hurt anybody. We went out there to find out answers to our questions that they fail over and over and over again to answer. It's important everyone in this room also understands that the answer you get from TABC when you call depends on a few things. It depends on the agent you talk to, the day you call, the time of day, and which frickin' direction the wind's blowing. Because you get a different answer every single time. Sergeant Shirley, the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, when we were served our suspension after July 4th, stated this, that they found out about Executive Order GA-28 the same exact time the general public did. They have no idea how to enforce the damn thing at all. They get to wing it. They get to interpret it however they want to. That's the biggest problem with Executive Order GA-28, is the fact that it is open to interpretation, however they see fit. And the double standards remain every single day. And as I stated before, things get more and more hostile. We're not selling the hot dogs in the name of public safety. We're not doing it. Right? Like, we gotta understand what it represents. It's not the solution, it's what it represents is the problem here. They want to give up your United States constitutional rights as an American, while Jerry World can host 40,000 people. Texas Motor Speedway can have 67,000 people in their stands. Hell, June 28, 2020, Greg Abbott and Mike Pence would celebrate freedom at First Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas with 5,000 people right after issuing an executive order. But here we are starving to death. Because we are super spreaders. As a hazmat specialist, I'm here to tell you, you cannot blame a particular group of people for a virus without doing analytical testing. No one has swabbed my bar top with a Q-tip at all. And the reason why every single one of us are being persecuted right now, to the nth degree, is for the crime of opening up our business. Because as I said before, after Freedom Fest, July 25th, we proved this had nothing to do with public safety. And we addressed that as well. Because if it did, why were we not confronted July 25th? Why instead did they post that video on a state agency's Facebook page? If this was truly about public safety, they would have shut us down or at the very least confronted us. When asked in court, Agent Erica Moore literally stated that it was her assignment to observe and report.
TABC was our friend, like they say they are. They would have helped us open up. When he came up with that executive order, he got a coalition of bar owners together. We did that, July 26th. We showed them we can open up and follow CDC guidelines. They should have took that to the governor and said, look, they can do this. But no, 60 days after the order, they said you can open up just throw a food truck in there, throw a pizza oven in there, a toaster oven, okay? And then at the meeting last week, they were proud of the fact that they're issuing these food permits in 7 days, where it used to take 60. See, we're correlating our forces and we're expediting these food permits. That's not what it is. Nothing to do with safety.
If this had anything to do with public safety, to prove James's point, TABC would be pitching safety operating procedures for us to reopen, not food and beverage permits that generate this state hundreds of thousands of dollars. I believe we're in the millions.
As of that meeting last week, there was 2,500 applications for food permits, and as of then, they had 1,900 approved. The other 600 were still pending. 1,900 times $800 is almost $2 million.
You're funding your enemy. It's the reason why they're still standing. We're literally funding them to do this. So after July 25th, we proved this has nothing to do with public safety, right? So you have to ask the question, why can we still not open? Because you know Abbott knows our name. Hell, Chris Porter, spokesperson of TABC, he definitely knows our name. Betsy Price, she knows our name. Mayor Turner in Houston, Texas, they know our name. You know Greg Abbott does, so why is this not being addressed? So he begs the question, you gotta dive down the rabbit hole a little further and start looking at the root of all evil. You gotta follow the money. You gotta follow the politics. And the things that you uncover, it is absolutely disturbing. Starting with your smoking gun executive order GA-17, which was signed on April 17, 2020, which gave political power and empowered state to 39 members of the self-appointed strike force that Greg Abbott appointed. The problem with that is all 39 members are either big, huge corporate heads of businesses that would benefit off the fact that we're shut down, or they're lobbyists, or they're big major evangelists that morally do not want us to be open. And the further you go down that rabbit hole, you'll find out that George Soros donated $652,000 to Greg Abbott's campaign. That gentleman literally causes division in countries to overthrow them, which has been proven over and over and over again. So you got to go down the rabbit hole further. TABC back in, when was the last quarterly meeting? Not the one last week, but James? When was the last quarterly meeting? Not the one last week, but the one prior to that.
But a month prior to that, 4 to 6 weeks prior to that.
4 to 6 weeks prior to that? Okay. So about 6 weeks ago, TABC, correct me if I'm wrong here, said that alcohol sales derived from permit holders was up 10%.
Yeah.
10%. Here's the interesting thing though. All the 51% businesses are closed down. How is that possible? Right? How is that possible? Are you following me here? Blue licenses, non-51%ers, they're open at 50% at the time. 51%ers with red licenses are closed. How in the hell are alcohol sales up?
Because our people, they didn't quit drinking,
Absolutely. I love hearing people say, our patrons never quit drinking, they went someplace else.
Margarita festival going on the
Yes.
road right now.
Absolutely. To prove it even further, there's an awesome Boomerjacks. Please do not send me a cease and desist Boomerjacks.
datatexas.org or the data. Pull up the mixed beverage permits. Find a restaurant in your area. Look at it. See what their purchases were or sales were in March and in June. Most of them are 2 to 3 times more than they were then.
Exactly. Boomerjacks, my favorite non-51% bar to go to down the street, asses to elbows. You pull their numbers. By the way, this is all public record. We're not pulling these numbers out of our ass. The numbers you report are public record. It's important you understand whether you're a 51% or a non-51%er. You pay the same tax rate when it comes to alcohol. You pay the same tax rate, 15%, just about there, right? So when you pull up Boomerjacks up in Hewlin, like I said, do not send me a cease and desist. When you pull them up, you will see that in June, they ran 264,000, and in July, they ran over $300 and something thousand, right? It was a grand total of a $55,000 increase in sales. It was also the highest reported sales since the history of that opening of that location. Yeah, $55,000 increase. They're only allowed to be open at 50%. What the hell? You following me here? People are profiting off the fact that we are closed down. Exactly, I'm glad you brought that up. Rodney with Cooter Browns asked the agency, or TABC, when they showed up at his bar, he asked them, or told them, that all the bars down the street are packed. Why are you guys messing with me? I got like 10 people in here. They said on camera! They were ordered and assigned to just pick on the 51% bars.
And I want to say something too. If it was about safety, they wouldn't be giving us ways around it. So, please pay for the permit, just get the blue, and COVID's not going to attack you. Okay? That's, if they really think we're that stupid, keep your doors closed. Keep your doors closed. Because this is not about safety in numbers, y'all. This is about a gun sign.
Amen to that.
It's about a gun sign. People do not come to our establishments to eat. When I walked into several places on August 2nd, and I saw they were packed, and they were not eating food in restaurants, they were drinking alcohol, I got pissed, and I said, I'm opening tomorrow. Let me explain what's going to happen. These places that are selling way more alcohol than they're supposed to be will be fined. And they will have their permits pulled. But let me tell you something else. I asked my officer, how come we aren't at a commissioner's meeting? Why is it millionaire trillionaires? They know we can't, let me rephrase. They think they're going to beat us. We have to show them different. We have to show them different. During the American Revolution, only 45% of the people were for America being free. 13% fought for the British. We won. And we're free because of that. Even though they were outnumbered, even though they didn't think they had a chance, crossing the Delaware. We beat them.
The power of
That's
art.
what we have to do. We, as an industry, have to stand up and beat this tyranny. I'm gonna tell you, I got my advice from Gabrielle. If you are suspended, you can legally give your alcohol away, according to our handbooks. So what you do is you sell art, and the drinks are free. So when you walk into my establishment, you're not buying alcohol. You're buying a piece of art that's got like boobies or a tree or a smiley face. Yeah, usually they say boobies, bokeeters, and beer. I think if I had a shirt made. Sell your art. Get real art. Go to Goodwill and buy art. And make sure you tell your guests that you are not selling alcohol. The alcohol is free. So when TABC walks in, you say, how much did you pay for that beer? It's free. Do not use your registers. Do not put money in your till. If there's ways around it, I'm going to find a way around it, and that's exactly what we did. I'm not paying $800, and we cannot be extorted. We can win this battle. We will win this battle.
Absolutely.
But we have to do it together. So encourage people, the other bars in your towns, to open.
I'm with Sandra 100% there. There's 100 different ways to do it, and everyone has their own beliefs and their philosophies on it, and whatever works for your business, and that's what you need to do. The Real Club Live, on the other hand, our entire approach is a little bit different. We're going to eventually starve out. We have a very little inventory left.
Yeah, let me add that I'm in a very conservative county. Our county judge thinks this is ludicrous.
It is. It absolutely.
But y'all it depends on really your county. My county sheriff is not going to mess with me. They personally messaged me and said they're not going to mess with me, and go for it.
The problem
Good
is,
for you. So
the problem is what they're trying to do is they're trying to make you so desperate. By they, I mean the state of Texas, Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, the city of Fort Worth, what have you. They're trying to make you so desperate and frustrated that you surrender your license. Or you break the law. Or they try to get you on something else. We had to open, we had no choice. The Real Club Live had no choice but to open up August 29th, and we dumped it, come and take it. Where we opened up and we started selling alcohol for the first time. Mind you, we were under suspension. We were on our 60-day suspension. It was the first time we started selling alcohol. We did that because we had $24 in our bank account. My $1.7 million once upon a time business, mind you, I grossed that. That's not by any means what I got to put in my pocket. Look at me. Had $24 in his bank account. We had no choice but to open. And as a result of opening and doing 100% right, we put it all through our point of sale system. We had all of our inventory. We didn't go buy from Sam's Club or anything like that. No, we sold what we had. Because we knew, without a shadow of a doubt, being the tip of the spear in this, that they were going to throw everything they had at us. And they have. And I'm getting to it. On August 29th, Mayor Betsy Price. We're going to need some more booze than that. I know you guys don't live here. But if you have a stance on something, you stick by your guns. No matter what, you don't change the narrative, you don't change your mind, you follow through. And that's the problem I have with Betsy Price, because on national television, July 25th, Betsy Price's health code officials gave me their blessing and let me open. On August 29th, an hour before doors, and this is all filmed, by the way, they gave us their blessing once again. Betsy Price gave us her blessing. TABC shows up an hour into opening with 8 TABC agents and 10 police officers in the parking lot. 8! Mind you, my only crime, if you will, is opening up my business to feed my children. That's it. And what did they do? They walked in and watched the live videos. They walked in there, one blocked that door, one blocked that door, one blocked that door. There's 2 over there, there's 2 over here, there's 3 right there. It's a grand total of 8. That is what's commonly referred to as a kill box. A kill box, which is a military vantage point to where if you make one wrong move or they feel threatened, you're screwed. You're done for. Hey, and I can put up with that. I started this fight. But you never put my patrons in that. You'll never put my staff in that. And my business partner's daughter in that kill box. And when we asked, are we under arrest? He said, no. Well, then what the hell are you doing here? It's literally intimidation. Well, guess what? It's not going to work here. I think those TABC agents have never fired their gun in their entire life. They walk in here with, like we're making pipe bombs or something in here, in flak jackets, and they just swarm you and stuff like that. Immediately after TABC walked out the door, the city of Fort Worth calls, and Terry, a partner here, answers the phone, and they are begging and pleading with us to shut down. They said they came from the higher-ups being Mayor Betsy Price, about to be former mayor if I have anything to do with it, stated that they're begging us to close it down, shut it down. They stated that citations would be the least of our concerns. Mind you, 3 hours prior to that, they're giving us their blessing. I don't stand for that at all. So they send this poor 22-year-old kid in our bar, and I'm guessing at his age, and he's shaking like a freaking leaf. It was adorable, and I felt horrible for him. Did you see her? Issue the message, right? We reminded them we had an attorney. They asked us to shut down, told them to go to hell, and they walk out the door. Right? We then immediately hit Betsy Price and Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission with a cease and desist in regards to Executive Order GA-28. Because I'd like to remind everybody, we're suing the dog shit out of TABC, the state of Texas, and now Betsy Price. Not for closing our bar, but for violating 6 of our 10 amendments outlined in our Bill of Rights. Well, it gets worse, guys. The following Monday, 2 health code officials walk in this bar again with 4 police officers that time. Granted, I have no problem with Forward Police Department. I respect what the hell it is they're doing. This is not their fight. They know that, and they respect what it is that they're doing. They tried to hand us another piece of paper. We said, no, we have an attorney. The entire reason I'm telling you this is because they fail to understand the due process of law. We are represented. And according to my 5th Amendment, I do not have to incriminate myself. Don't walk in here and ask me if I'm open. Don't walk in here and ask me my health code procedures and things like that, or anything in regards to Executive Order GA-28. You can talk to one of my 12 attorneys. That's how the law works. And they failed to realize that. But it gets worse. September 11th, we're hosting an event here at the Rail Club Live, and 6 TABC agents walk in this door, armed to the teeth once again, and they raped and pillaged my building. And I'm not exaggerating. They took pictures of every single thing behind my bar, which God bless them for it. What they're trying to do is they realize they can't cuff me up for GA-28, so they're trying to prove that I'm either bootlegging or committing some sort of tax fraud or something along those lines. They're trying to scare the hell out of me. They went up into my offices, and the first thing we did, you can see it on the live stream, I told him my firearm is on the desktop of my computer, on the hard drive. Well, you can have a gun in here. Well, yeah, I'm well aware of that. But I'm not walking in there to grab him like you know. I don't want you crazy assholes to shoot him. The whole entire reason they went up in the office is they wanted to see the list of distributors that we have. They wanted to see our receipts from our suppliers where we buy our alcohol. Because like Sandra said before, you cannot buy alcohol from your distributors when you're suspended, right? So what we have is what we have. We're under siege, right? Mind you, they've already been hit with the cease and desist. While I'm handing him our liquor receipts from our distributors, he grabs all of my nightly sales sheet over the last couple of days prior to that, and they seize them. According to that cease and desist, you can't do that. You can ask my attorney for him. We'll happily give that to him, but you can't take that. And as a result, I still haven't gotten them back. I can't pay my taxes. They still haven't. We haven't been able to put them in the computer. They still have. That was September 11th. What are we on? September 26th right now? More than 10 days? 15 days. They still got them. Taxes are due on the 20th. These guys are doing everything they can to stop us because it gets worse. They follow me home. There have been dead birds in my front yard of this club. Yesterday, we received what I like to refer to as shit tickets. 5 of them. And what they state is, and they're addressed to me personally. They issued, the city of Fort Worth issued us citations, mind you, we hit them with a cease and desist, supposed to go to my lawyer, for failure to adhere to Executive Order GA-28. Well, what is there to adhere to? It's an executive order. It's not a law. It's not a law. Mind you, our only crime is opening up our business. That's why I refuse to bootleg or do anything that potentially would look like tax evasion whatsoever, because I will continue to fight a good fight, because these guys are throwing everything they got at us. They have my former address listed on it. The violation B on this is failure to cease operation after receiving a notice of suspension of their Fort Worth health permit. Betsy Price, where in God's name is that suspension at? Because we don't have it. We don't have it. We've never been issued a health code suspension as a result of any of this. We received these citations in the mail, but nothing stating that we've been suspended. Each of these is for $2,000, so you're looking at 10 grand in fines right there. That is tyranny at its finest. and a violation of your 8th Amendment is excessive fines and cruel and unusual punishment. But it gets worse. I got served to go to court for child support for being 2 weeks behind. And please don't think I'm a bad father, because it breaks my heart to even tell you guys this. Because things have not been easy financially for any of us at all. This place used to be covered in guitars and stuff like that. We talked everything just to stay alive. And so please do not look at me differently for what I'm about to tell you. Been 2 weeks behind, 536 hours behind in arrears, right? I get hit with 4 counts of punitive contempt to not pay child support. 536 hours. I want to remind you, there's people out there that owe $20, $30, $40, $50, $60,000 in child support and have never received a letter in their life. These guys want to throw me in jail for 6 months for every single count. They hit me with another 2. Yeah. So in court, I was basically stating, they said I needed to seek other employment. It's like, are you kidding me? My business isn't shut down due to my bad decisions or due to my misfortune. You guys closed my business down. And Executive Order GA-28 says I cannot go to jail for it. So what makes you think you're going to put me in debtor's prison as a result of GA-28? So yeah, they put me on community watch. Basically, somebody has to call me once a month to make sure I pay my $30 in arrears for the next 120 months. How stupid is that? What I'm getting at is they're just doing anything to dig with us and mess with us. Right? Let's take it up a notch. How many 51% of this room you had their bank account frozen by the comptroller? Yeah? What bar are you guys with again? I can't see you. Backyard and Crosby, right? You guys had it frozen by the comptroller? I think Gabby did too. You guys get yours frozen at all? Okay, Gabby. Of course you did. You did too? Oh, you closed it, gotcha. There are countless 51%ers out there. Wayne Dolcefino made an awesome documentary about it. The Texas State Comptroller froze the accounts of any 51%er for the most part that opened up in defiance of Executive Order GA-28. They froze our bank accounts. Way to overthrow that. At least we were able to, you know. The problem is if you did, a lot of people didn't file for April because there was nothing to file. We were closed down. So they hit you with a $1,700 late fee. And then they freeze your bank accounts over $1,500. Isn't that insane? It's insane, right? Like I said, they follow you home. They're literally checking up on every single thing that you do in your entire life. They have made it to where it's not safe for my kids to be at my home because who knows what's going to happen. By doing those shows of forces in here, mind you, all we did was open up our business. By putting TABC agents in here and putting our patrons in kill boxes like that, I can keep my cool under that type of circumstances. I know these guys are fucking idiots. But all these patriots that keep coming into my bar, it's only a matter of time before one of these guys screws up, says the wrong thing to one of our patrons, and you got a Waco on your hands, Greg Abbott. And I want to remind everybody, again, and being redundant here, we're law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. We're not rioting, looted, hurt anybody. We have protested in buildings that we own, not hurt. And like I said, it's only a matter of time before that tension gets too far out there to where it's going to erupt and the state of Texas is going to fire. And it's insane. The media doesn't want to cover it until there's bloodshed. Until there's, I guarantee you, once the militia shows up, everyone and their mother will be out there filming it. That's the problem with today's society. Everyone thinks that we're fighting because we're fighting for a right to party. We're fighting for a right to sell alcohol. We're fighting for the bars. No. We're the only thing standing in between the rest of the free country and the United States Constitution. Yep. That's it.
Fighting for our rights.
Yep.
Fighting for the right to open. Fighting for the right to feed our families and our children.
This has absolutely nothing to do with the bars, with public safety. As we continue to reiterate, what world do we live in? This gross revenue generated by hot dogs, this gross revenue generated by Miller Lite have anything to do with the cause of spread of communicable disease? I mean, hell, go through 4th grade chemistry class or science class and they'll tell you that. For the first time in your life, to the general public that's watching this, it's important to understand we were all born to live under a social contract of one another. An unspoken agreement. We don't cough on each other. We don't sneeze on each other. We don't make out when we're sick. We don't go out to a show or a movie theater when we have the flu. You know, you sneeze, you say bless you. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about common courtesy and choices, right? It does. But it's when you've lost your ability to do so when the government says, well, guess what? Your job is non-essential. It's just completely circumstantial, right? The people that had to go out every single day during this did not have the financial means to stay at home like everybody else. It's another division in our country. Whereas the people that did stay home, they did. They did. And it keeps going and get worse and worse and worse. And as I said before, the entire reason why we're doing this is because they are continuing to escalate at alarming rates. Like I said, we just got fined $10,000, and all I did was open up my business. They're putting small armies in our building, and all I did was open up my business. They are digging up everything that they possibly can to shut us up and ruin our integrity. Not because we're standing for the bars, but because we're standing for the United States Constitution that they are desperately trying to manipulate and destroy to be able to make you guys do whatever the hell they want you to out of the blanket fear of COVID-19. It is. Exactly. Extortion. There's no better definition of extortion or example that can be made about extortion than these damn food and beverage permits. That is extortion to a T. To a T. And to touch on, to clarify on Sandra's point, the reason why we're so far against them is, one, it's stupid. It's not the amount of hot dogs you sell, guys. It's the amount of money you generate from the hot dogs. It's not the amount of shots you sell, it's the amount of money you generate off of them. Hell, I could sell the shirt off my back. I could give you a lap dance. That counts as non-alcoholic sales. That is so stupid. And why anybody would give up their constitutional rights as an American and spit on the forefathers before us that gave us this ability to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in the name of hot dog sales. Oh my God, I'm gonna have a stroke. I will never understand it. $750, and guess what? It's worse than that. It's a happy now, sad later kind of deal. They do not want us to exist. That has been made perfectly clear. They do not want us to exist because we're not affecting tax revenue. We're like-minded individuals gathered in one room. The only reason why you guys are here right now is because you believe in what it is we are doing, which makes us like-minded. They do not want us talking about this stuff. That's why we're going through so much hell. It has nothing to do with how much Jack Daniels I sell. Hell no. We unified our competitors, and that is fucking terrifying.
That's true.
I get 3. Get my blood pressure. All I'm getting at is for the first time in the history of the world, it all boils down to that, and it's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. You are generating, the biggest difference between food and beverage permits and pitch and safety operating procedures is $700. Does that make sense? That's why TABC isn't pitch and safety operating procedures. That doesn't cost anything to pitch at all. Food and beverage permits do. And guess what? Everyone that got one, you got a target on your back besides the state of Texas, and it ain't coming from me, it's coming from TABC. By signing that thing, you are now recognizing that you are no longer a 51%er. The general public believes, tell them to shut the hell up, don't waste my minutes. The public believes, because of the way TABC presented it, and the media presented it, that they were trying to help us. In all reality, it was because after Freedom Fest, everyone was like, well, hang on a second. Public perception completely shifted. We went from being public enemy number 1, getting death threats, to, hang on a second, these guys were the problem. Maybe they're actually the solution. Right? Maybe these guys are onto something. So what does TABC do? They make an emergency amendment to these damn food and beverage permits. And they come out and say, all you gotta do, you can subcontract the food truck. You can just sell this, you can sell that, it's okay, it's $700, it's okay. Wrong! The problem with it, the general public doesn't understand, is the fact that you put a target on your back in the sense that, one, you were extorted and you paid for it you shouldn't have. But 2, TABC can now walk in here at any given time and look at your books to see if you're breaking the law. Because if you're still selling gross revenue higher with alcohol than you are with your damn Vienna sausages or whatever the hell you decide to sell, guess what? You've committed a negligence and possibly a criminal violation. They can take away your liquor license, your food and beverage permit. They can fine you into oblivion. They can even throw you in jail. They can throw you in jail. In what world do we live in, guys? Seriously. We're already held to a much higher standard than the rest of the state of Texas. We pay a higher tax rate than any other commercial business in Texas. And as a result, we are still, I feel like we're part of the Salem witch trials. To be a 51%er is to be an outlaw to these guys. They have no respect for what it is that we are doing. And then instead of talking about it, and thank God Greg Abbott did, because anytime Greg Abbott talks about the bars, the media gives me a chance to rebuttal, and that makes my day. But outside of that, they don't talk about it because there's not been any bloodshed. But this is one of the biggest offenses that's ever taken place in the state of Texas, and it's one of the only things that isn't being covered in the media on a regular basis. Are you guys following me with this? Do you guys understand what we represent? We're talking about the Second Amendment. You can walk into a bar, you can walk into a Beverage with your pistol on. Can't walk into the Rail Club Live with it. Both sell alcohol. Both have the same type of license. Right? You know why they don't want you armed? Because we're talking about it. Revolutions are made in bars. And the Fourth Amendment. Searches and seizures. Searches and seizures, they have to come in with a warrant. I've been told you, they already stole all my stuff. Fifth. Your Fifth Amendment. They sit there and ask you about, they try to get you to self-incriminate yourself right here and there, right there on the spot, every day. They will not allow you to face your accusers. TABC even had the audacity when I did my TABC hearing for Freedom Fest, when I got to ask Agent Erica Moore, the undercover TABC agent who shot that video and put it on Facebook, I got to ask her, why didn't you shut us down? It's true, it had anything to do with public safety. Why didn't you shut us down? Well, my assignment was to observe and report, right? And then Matthew Cherry, the attorney for TABC, had the audacity to ask the judge to make that video confidential, the undercover video confidential, which is hilarious to me because the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission put it on their Facebook page and it's still on there to this day. But these guys have the audacity, TABC, the same people that did have the audacity to say, make it confidential, please, Your Honor, for Erica Moore's safety.
The Facebook page is private. Change it to private, so make it confidential.
What kind of double standard is that? Guess what? The judge awarded it to them. They said for Erica Moore's safety. Are you kidding me? I'm not walking in here armed to the teeth. You are. For their safety. I got the dead birds in my front yard. I can't see my children because of the death threats. I can't make ends meet. I'm having a hard time making ends meet on my child support, much less everything else, and they want to throw me in jail for that. They are literally throwing everything they got in this Cold War siege they have against us. And we're not standing for it anymore. At all. And as we continue to state, if you want our businesses, then come and take it.
Take it. Yeah, all right, Chris, calm down. Okay. Outside. What Chris is saying, everything we do, every rally we've had, every protest we had, everything we do, what have we heard from the governor about this? Not a damn thing. In his news conferences, he only mentioned us as the last conference that said we're closed. The restaurants can open up to 75%, but the bars still say closed. The last TABC committee meeting, the commissioner brought up the fact that the reason the bars are such a spreader of COVID is after 10:30 that people lose their inhibitions to social distance and they can't stay away. And I'm thinking, how did that come about? Where did you get this number, the bewitching hour? That's what I asked him when I had my comment on that at the committee meeting last week. Yeah. You don't have to order food, you can drink at the bar, you're corner to corner. I mean, just look at like I say, the beverage receipts, look on there. And you can find any restaurant in your area and see how much bigger their sales have been, double, triple. Yeah, you don't want to fudge your numbers. You got to be honest.
Let me just reiterate something real quick. When TABC does their audits, they don't go by what you punch into your register. So you can't sell. I know a lot of business of 51ers that are ringing up their Coke, Jack and Coke, as the Jack's $1.50 and the Coke is $4. They go by what you purchase. So when they do your audits, they want to see your invoices, not what they look at what you rang up, but they go by what you bought, what you sold, and then they estimate what you owe them. So before you break any laws trying to fudge numbers, because I know everybody's so desperate at this point just to get open, don't. Because they're gonna get you. And the food, in my opinion, is a trap. I would never go down that route. By all means, do whatever you feel like is in your heart, what's right for you. But don't fudge your numbers, because they do not go off what you punch in. They go off what you bought. So if you bought 50 pounds of hamburger meat, and you rang up 27 hamburgers, they're gonna say you should have rang up this many hamburgers, and you should have rang up this much, and they estimate what you owe. So be very careful. Yeah, they can do whatever they want.
So if you buy 10 pounds of hamburger meat and you're doing half-pound burgers, you better have that. What she's saying is correct. They're going to ask for your receipts. They're going to sit down like the IRS. They're going to get you. I want to touch on something. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to stay much longer. I'm about to leave. We have some other things we got to get going. We're introducing wings at mine for Monday Night Football to try to survive.
Ew, fuck football. Yeah. Oh, I said that. I apologize. I did not mean to say that out loud. Oops.
I'm going to actually use this one. I don't know why. This one doesn't sound like it's working. So, what she's saying is correct. And I like what she said. She said, do what's best for your bar. Do what's best for your individual situation. But what I've learned throughout this is that people are going to try to separate us. They're going to try to keep us from doing this with each other. Guys, everybody has different personalities. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm okay with that. But I'll show up and be here with you. Don't let them separate us, because we're stronger together. You don't have to like everybody in this room. You just got to be respectful. And remember, we all have the same goal. I don't care if you're blue or red. Like I said a while ago, I feel like we turned this into the Crips and Bloods. I don't get it. We should all just be one thing. But right now, since we're not because of them, we need to be together. So the last thing I wanted to touch on was what I told James I wanted to talk about, and then I gotta go, is about TABC. So the governor is not compliant with TABC. So you can't wear a mask in my bar unless you're old and you don't look like an outlaw, or I know you. So that's my private business choice. Does that mean somebody's not coming? That's okay, it's still my choice. Why is that? TABC says, 1, I have to know you're 21 before I serve you. 2, I have to know you're not intoxicated when I serve you. And 3, if you're coming in with the intentions of robbing us, it's my responsibility to the best of my ability to protect myself, my patrons, my customers. That's TABC compliance, you guys. That's what we're told we have to do to own and operate a bar. That's what every bartender has to do. So I told my TABC guy that, and I said, you're gonna have to step outside. You have a mask on. And we went outside. And I said, Abbott's not in compliance. He said, well, Abbott says that you have to wear a mask. I said, no. What Abbott said was, I'm closing the bars because you gotta take the mask down to take a drink, and that's not safe. So for me to be compliant with you, TABC, you gotta take that mask down for me to make sure you're 21, not intoxicated, and not gonna rob me, or at least get you on camera. So it's not us that's not in compliance today, it's Abbott. And these aren't laws. They're not laws. Do what's best for your bar. Thank you for having me out here, and I stand with every single one of you, and thank you for standing with me.
So does anybody else want to bring any comments, questions, concerns? Anybody want to bring up anything? Okay, Joe, come on up. Looks like Joe Olson here. He's got a... And then after that, I think we'll about shut this thing down. And
Hey, real quick, TABC, I figured as much. I'm a little bit disappointed that you guys didn't show up. You know, we show up to the Capitol, you guys aren't there. We show up to your headquarters, you guys aren't there. You guys only pick on us, it seems like, whenever there's like 8 or 9 of us in the room. But whenever we unify the bars and they don't come out, where the hell are you? Seriously. Where is the third most powerful state agency in the state of Texas? Where is Kevin Lilly at? Where's Chris Porter at? Or are they at on this? It's because we have proven again and again and again that we are right. And public perception just keeps shifting and shifting and shifting and shifting to our favor. Because like I've already stated 100 times, this has nothing to do with public safety, and we proved it. We proved it. So please, guys, when this is all said and done, help us educate the population out there. Nobody knows the difference between 51 and non-51. Nobody understands what it is that we're actually going through for opening up our own businesses. No one has any idea what we're going through. They still think we're fighting for a right to party, and it's our job as American citizens to educate the public against the tyranny, because I'm here to tell you, you think they're going to stop at the bars? Hell no, they're not. They threw Shelley Luther in jail over this. They threw Gabrielle Ellison from Big Daddy Zane's, one of our speakers, they threw her in jail over this. They threw the owners of Friends Pub in Friendswood, Texas, in jail over this. And they're trying to do the same exact thing to every single one of us. Like I said before, this has nothing to do with the bars. This has everything to do with your constitutional rights as Americans. It's our job to stand up against it. Against it. And if that doesn't deserve a hell yeah, I don't know what does.
Yeah. Good joke.
Thanks for your courage and your tenacity, but this is a problem that affects the whole state and affects our whole nation and in fact affects the whole world. I'm a retired engineer. When this BS started back in January, I've invested 50 hours a week for the last 25, 30 weeks. So thousands of hours of study into this woo-flu thing. I've written a dozen articles. I'm not going to go into that. Just to say that I've also attended every major rally in the state of Texas since this event started, beginning with April 18th, InfoWars rally in Austin, then the Oath Keepers, or the Open Texas rally, then the rally in Dallas for Shelley Luther on May 9th, then the Oath Keepers rally. I went to the TABC rally where I met Chris and Sandra and James, and I'm here today. But next week, there's a group called ConstitutionalSummitUSA.com. They're having a rally at the Capitol in Austin. The speakers are going to start at 9 o'clock in the morning. It'll go till 5 o'clock. It includes several of the doctors that were on the front line American Doctors Protest in front of the Supreme Court building. It'll include Del Bigtree. There's a whole bunch of really good speakers. What Abbott can't ignore is thousands of Texans standing in front of the Capitol and the governor's mansion demanding that they end all of this stuff, because it's not just, you guys are the tip of the spear, but he's awarded $295 million to a Pakistani startup company, which is really a front company for Google, to contact trace everybody in the state of Texas, and they're putting apps on your cell phone so that they can do that. This goes beyond anything that any tyrant has ever wished for in the whole history of the world, and we've got to stop the full range of this stuff. So if at all possible, go to Austin next weekend and participate in that rally. And that's all I have to say. Thanks so much.
Okay, one more thing.
Hey, seen live here at the Rail Club Karaoke. I can't believe I'm introducing you like that. Reggie Rangel, the greatest bar manager on God's green earth. We're bar manager of the Rail Club Live with Oliver Gordon right here. I'm more scared of her than I am defying the government, honestly.
Okay, so I'm Reggie. I do most of the weeknight activities that we do here. That's not what I'm here to talk about, though. I didn't plan this. I just kind of rose out of that cooler box I was sitting on and said, I gotta say something. If it wasn't for Chris Pallone, Terry Johnson, and the guys that run this club every day, the guys that have put everything they've got into this movement, I would not have been able to pay my rent. I would not have been able to buy my daughter's birthday. So let me tell you right now, he gets crazy. Those Facebook Live videos, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. But you know what? He's got passion, he's got heart, and he has a tongue that can talk anybody into anything. Let me tell you, that's a powerful thing to have. Yeah. It really is. Some days I just want to kick him in the shins and run away. Other days I want to like pat him on the back. And so I just want you guys to know he may have an extreme appearance. He may have a strong heart and get frustrated and cuss and smoke cigarettes on his Facebook Live. And that might not be okay to some, but you know what? It's okay to me because it's helping me. He's doing everything for us here in this room, everybody on his staff, everybody in this state of Texas, all the 51%ers, he's taking it all on his back. I took him to the hospital because I was afraid that a 28-year-old man, which is in relatively good health, I thought he might be having a heart attack. My husband had a heart attack this year, and I saw the same signs, so I said, let's go. And look at him, he's sitting here now, and he's okay. And you know why? Because he's a fighter, and that's what he's here to do. He's fighting for you, he's fighting for me, he's fighting for our goddamn rights, and give it up for motherfucking Chris Paul.
You never make me cry if I game you're fired.
He's already trying to fire me twice.
The reason why I'm standing here is because men with purpose cannot die. That's why. And this is bigger than us. This is bigger than us, and I don't deserve the thanks that meant a lot to me. But honestly, like Gabrielle was saying earlier, it's the staff that's putting their neck on the line every single day. It's guys like Rodney over at Cooter Browns, Tara Cooter Browns, running into the fire because of something that a guy, crazy-ass 28-year-old said on a live video that makes sense to them, risking their business to stand up in solidarity. We realized real fast after July 4th that we could open every day and protest, and eventually we'd get hit in the mouth so bad that we had no choice to shut down. But we also realized if we could unify our competitors and all stand up, well, that's saying something. And by God, if we've accomplished anything over the last 3 months, I have met some of the greatest friends through all of this. I would never step foot, make that crystal clear on the record, in a honky tonk bar in Pasadena. I don't care if you book. I don't care if you book Motley Crue. But seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, let's get rid of some pressure real quick, man. I got some frustrations, and I just want to say two things. If y'all notice, I don't say a whole lot. I want to say two things, and I want y'all to repeat after me. Have y'all heard that in some of these protests and all that kind of stuff? There's two people in this world that have really screwed us over. Palone says I can't cuss, so I'm going to be real nice. Okay, repeat after me. Fuck you, Abbott. Fuck you, TABC. Come and take it, bitch.
Doesn't it feel great? It feels great. I don't get mad for touching. It feels amazing. It feels amazing. These people are coming into our homes. As we've already stated, it's my business. I pay for it. Not Greg Abbott, not TABC, not the taxpayer. Me.
Yeah.
Me. It's ours. Right?
Yeah.
That's like me coming into your house and saying, sorry, Gam's gotta go. For your safety. Greg Abbott said, and I'm going to use his words against him, and I'm going to mess up his quote, but he basically said, the government needs to realize that the government does not belong to them, it belongs to the people.
Right on.
I think he forgot that somewhere along the way. I think that he forgot that there's a fourth unofficial branch of the United States government or the Texas government. Of course, we know the three that's written in the history books. You have your judicial, you have your executive, you have your legislative, right? And they're designed to perform checks and balances on one another so that everything can operate fairly, correct?
Correct.
But everyone forgets about the fourth and the most powerful checks and balance branch of our government. And that is we, the people of the United States of America, in order to perform an answer to a more perfect union. For life, liberty, justice, peace, and happiness for all. And that's why we're here today. That is. I want to thank every single one of you guys for coming out and being a part of this. More than anything, do we have anything else? We're gonna go. Look, man, we're okay. I'll just announce it on the stream because Rodney's all in. Rodney and I are going to a jail cell together. TABC, Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, obviously did not want to be here today because we have a militia and because we have a bunch of pissed off bar owners that they've been abusing for the last 3 months. It's been 3 months exactly. 3 months exactly. June 26th. 3 months of this hell. But they don't want to show up and confront us with this. Hell no. They're going to wait till we have 8 people in here to do so and continue to abuse us. They couldn't come here because they're under litigation. Yeah. Hell yeah. No. And let me prove my point even further. Rodney, forgive me, and we're going to go to jail together. Let me prove my point even further. We're all going to Cuda Grounds in Burleson, Texas. We being the 51 percenters. If TABC wants to show up, that's the time to do it. Come to have a conversation with all the 51 percenters. If you want our businesses, come and take it. Give it up for every single 51 percenter fighting the good fight for the United States Constitution. Roll, live the rail, baby! Long live the 51 percenters and the veterans who have swear on everything is holy. We will not stop. There are 3 ways to make us stop. Open everything up, close it all down, or you're going to have to kill me because none of us are shutting the fuck up over this. This is tyranny and abuse at its finest. Thank you guys. Thank you, Rail Club.